What began as a routine nighttime walk quickly turned into a nightmare for Adrien Robert, a young woman whose life was tragically cut short by an unimaginable act of violence. She had no way of knowing that this would be her last evening alive. It was meant to be a fun night, a farewell party marking a new chapter in her life. Adrienne's kind, vibrant spirit touched everyone who knew her. But on this fateful night, she became the victim of a cold-blooded killer who fled the scene, thinking he had covered all his tracks. Thanks to the relentless work of detectives, the horrifying truth was eventually uncovered, and the person responsible was brought to justice. This case not only solved the mystery of what happened to Adrien Robert, but also served as a chilling reminder that something like this could happen to anyone. A love story cut short. Adrien Robert and her boyfriend, Justin Pounders, were a couple deeply in love and ready to embark on the next stage of their journey together. Justin often described Adrienne as someone who radiated joy and positivity, a person you were naturally drawn to. From the moment they met, their connection was undeniable. She was beautiful, happy, and full of life. Justin would later recall, Adrienne was his everything, and they dreamed of building a future together. At the time, Adrienne was living in a townhouse with her close friend Jay. Meanwhile, Justin shared an apartment with a roommate. With their leases ending, Adrienne and Justin had decided to move in together. They found a new place and were excited to start fresh in their shared home. Before moving out of her townhouse, Adrienne decided to host a casual farewell party with Jay, a night to relax and enjoy each other's company. There were no elaborate plans, just an evening of fun. But what was supposed to be a celebration turned into a tragedy. The night of the murder. Jay returned home that evening, entirely unaware of the horror that awaited him. What he found was nothing short of a nightmare. In a panic, he dialed 911. 911, is this a police, fire, or medical emergency? Through his trembling voice, Jay explained what he had found. I just came home. My roommate isn't moving. She's got blood all over her. The dispatcher guided him through CPR instructions, but it was already too late. By the time paramedics arrived, Adrienne had succumbed to her injuries. She was found in the bathroom, with a single stab wound to her chest. The young woman who had so much life ahead of her was gone. Detectives were immediately called to the scene. The townhouse showed no signs of forced entry, suggesting Adrienne had willingly let her attacker inside. Blood splatters on the walls and a broken toilet seat pointed to a violent struggle. Adrienne was partially undressed, leading investigators to suspect a possible sexual motive behind the attack. As they combed through the scene, detectives discovered something unusual, a cutout in the bed's sheet. It appeared the perpetrator had taken something from the bed, possibly evidence that could incriminate him. But despite his efforts to cover his tracks, piecing together the evidence, during their investigation, police noticed Adrienne's orange Jeep was missing. It was quickly determined that the killer had stolen her vehicle to flee the scene. This became a key lead in the case. The following day, the stolen Jeep was found in a nearby parking lot. The engine was still running, and the headlights were on, indicating the suspect had abandoned it in a hurry. Detectives turned to surveillance footage from nearby businesses, hoping to catch a glimpse of the person who had left the car. A camera from a nearby CarMax dealership captured a silhouette of a man walking away from the parking lot. He was wearing a baseball cap, had long hair, and was dressed in shorts. Unfortunately, the footage wasn't clear enough to identify the man. Investigators expanded their search for witnesses and additional surveillance videos. A witness speaks out. A neighbor came forward with critical information. On the night of the attack, he had seen Adrienne walking with an unfamiliar man. They were jogging down the road together. But something seemed off. Adrienne was dressed in a party dress and holding her shoes in her hand, hardly appropriate for a jog. This observation provided a crucial piece of the puzzle. It suggested Adrienne had been trying to escape her attacker, but had been followed. The party at the strip club. Detectives brought in Adrienne's roommate, Jay, for questioning. He explained that the farewell party had started at their townhouse with a few drinks before they decided to go out to a local strip club called Diamond Dolls. Jay recalled that Adrienne had caught the attention of an African-American man at the club. The two didn't know him, they had just met him that night. Jay described him as wearing a baseball cap and being slim. Adrienne, needing to wake up early the next day, decided to leave the club around 1:30 a.m. She walked home alone while Jay stayed behind to continue the night. The man who had been talking to Adrienne also left shortly after her. The last moments captured on camera. Surveillance footage from Diamond Dolls confirmed Jay's account. Adrian and Jay were seen entering the club together around 10:30 p.m., looking relaxed and ready to have a good time. Later, at 1:38 a.m., Adrian was captured leaving the club alone. Moments later, the man described by Jay was seen following her. Footage from another camera showed the man handing Adrian a jacket she had left behind at the club. After a brief exchange, the two walked off together. This was the last time Adrian was seen alive. Detectives suspected that this man might be the killer. However, comparisons between the footage from Diamond Dolls and the CarMax dealership revealed they were looking at two different individuals. This left investigators with more questions than answers. DNA evidence provides a breakthrough. Back at the crime scene, forensic experts had collected samples of male DNA from Adrian's body and the bedsheets. Although the killer had taken steps to remove evidence, he hadn't been thorough enough. The DNA was sent to a lab for analysis and entered into a national database. Unfortunately, there were no matches. This suggested the killer had no prior criminal record or hadn't been previously arrested for a violent crime. Justice for Adrian. Adrian's parents and loved ones were devastated by her loss. As they went through her belongings, they were heartbroken to see how excited she had been to start her new life with Justin. Her possessions were neatly packed, ready for the move she would never make. Justin, who had been eagerly anticipating a future with Adrian, was shattered. The day that was supposed to mark the beginning of their new chapter became the darkest moment of his life. The investigation stretched on for months as detectives tirelessly worked to track down Adrian's killer. Eventually, advancements in DNA testing provided a crucial lead. The DNA sample was matched to a man who had been arrested on unrelated charges. He fit the description provided by Jay and the surveillance footage. Under questioning, he confessed to the crime, claiming it had been a robbery gone wrong. A tragic reminder. Adrien Robert's murder was a senseless act of violence that robbed the world of a bright and loving young woman. Her case serves as a stark reminder of how quickly life can change and the dangers that can lurk in unexpected places. While justice was ultimately served, it did little to ease the pain of those who knew and loved Adrian. For Justin, Adrian's family, and her friends, the loss remains an unhealable wound. This story is not just about Adrian's tragic death, but also about the importance of never giving up in the pursuit of justice. Detectives faced numerous challenges in solving the case, but their perseverance ensured Adrian's killer was held accountable. Her story reminds us to cherish every moment and to be vigilant about our safety, as the unthinkable can sometimes happen when we least expect it. Adrian's memory lives on in the hearts of those who loved her. Though her life was cut short, her vibrant spirit continues to inspire, reminding us all to treasure the time we have with our loved ones.